Hey, what is up, guys? Evanaldo here. I want to give you an update. Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm going to talk about Matic, Cardano, BNB, real estate a little bit as well today. I got a lot to talk about. Also, guys, wanted to show you the latest trades. I mean, obviously, not every time is going to be this successful. We got a bunch of open trades and probably like 8 trades or something right now, just all shorts. They've all became swing shorts. Profits locked in. This is what I've been doing in the exclusive Discord. I mean, you can see here, link short, all these alts that just keep bleeding against Bitcoin. So this is one of those, opportunities where alts could really, really crash. So been doing really well with that. If you guys are interested in the Discord, a link in the description below. Keep in mind, you will get charged again on the first if you sign up now. We do have a really good community in there. Not right 100% of the time, but we've had some really good trades. There's a lot of really good traders in there, so check it out. Also, if you guys are interested in trading, sign up to BITGET with my link down below. We're doing a tournament right now, really good promo, so check that out. This is for experienced traders only. You do need to use a VPN if you are in the United States. So let's get into the analysis now. The 2-week is the first thing I want to talk about because, I know obviously this is more of a trading channel, but for swing trades, for long term, for buying towards the bottom of the bear market and then trying to get out towards the top, doing something of, getting in over here maybe and getting out over here, or getting in over here, possibly it doesn't matter if you hit the exact bottom and then getting out towards the top. This is what you want to look at. And, money flow coming into the red right here. This is about a 10-month period. This was also, it got choppy here a little bit, about a 10-month period of accumulation. Now we're there. It didn't confirm in the red yet, so I'd be waiting at least for, the 2 weeks for this to confirm in the red. And then that's going to be into next year. So I think January, and I think we might see, we could absolutely, I'm not going to, it's around a 30 to 35% drop both times. You kind of had that money flow crossover into the red, both of these areas. So that's my main guess for a potential bottom is probably around 11K. Now, excuse me, I think there's one of two things that's going to happen here. Either we get to 11K sometime in January, and it would be similar to what happened, back here. Your double tops was in April, November, and then you bottomed out in the following January of 2015. That'd be very similar to what happened back there. That would be crazy if it plays out like that. Or you get to the 11K in January, and then you keep going down with the S&P 500, with the NASDAQ into mid to late 2023 for a bottom at lower areas like 5K or 7K, or probably the lowest to what people have said, around the high threes, around these same, crime, scene of the crime, as some people would say, or the COVID lows. Those two places could be potentially what we'd be looking at. That's worst case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think even with this strategy, if you get in, not financial advice, but if you get in probably, if I get in at, 10 months here in DCA and say I wanted to put 10,000 in, put 1,000 in every month, I think you're going to be in a very good position for the next bull run. That's what I think. I think you're going to be in a very good position long term. And that's even if we don't even get to new all-time highs. Even if we just get to, 30K even, or 40K, in the next bull run. I think we probably will make new all-time highs, but say we don't, you're still going to be in a pretty good position if you're willing to wait a few years, and it's going to be a pretty penny. That for Ethereum as well. I think ultimately with the Bitcoin dominance rising, it looks, I talked about, I think in the last video, it looks as bullish as possible in that monthly time frame there. I think you ought to wait, a few months to get into altcoins, just focus on Bitcoin as soon as we get to January. Wait till probably March, April at least, and then that's your prime time to kind of get into altcoins. So yeah, let's move down a little bit here. I wanted to look at the weekly, and the weekly, the 11K is a big area. And the reason it is because the 500 weekly moving average at about 11.1 right now. I think it's going to be beautiful. If we could hit that point in January, that's going to be at least a nice jump up, probably back to 15K, probably back to where we are now. I think that's going to give us, because if you just look at this market just down, 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 I think when you hit 11K, you're going to see something. Like you probably see something back up to 14K. You could see a big rally like this, if not better, and that's going to be a potential. A lot of people are going to be saying that's the bottom, and it absolutely could be. It absolutely could be. I'd say the odds are probably at least 60, 70% it will be the bottom if we hit that in January, and Bitcoin kind of acts more like gold and silver and starts to really outperform the NASDAQ and S&P 500 in the recession, and then all the Bitcoiners could say on Twitter, I got it right, and then all the Peter Schiffs for gold and silver, that's going to do well, and they could say, no, I got it right because Bitcoin's still down a lot, and then it's just going to be, it is a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that's a good odds. But there's that possibility of false bottom, and then you come down more into middle to late 2023 at the low areas, in between somewhere probably between like 7K all the way down to like the 3Ks, worst possible case scenario. But then again, if you're getting in at 11K and it goes down to say 4K or 3K, that's not that bad for crypto. You're not down 98% like some of the alts. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, moving on here a little bit. You have your blood diamond on the 2-day here. This, I think, is going to bring you down around 30% is my main guess. Now, it could take, obviously, a month or a little bit more. And that's the 30%. The same as the money flow crossover on the 2-week. 30%, around that area. And if you look at previous blood diamonds, I mean, some of them haven't, they've had delayed effects. Not everything's going to be 100%. This one was kind of a bear trap right there. You came up, made new all-time highs. But, I mean, obviously, if you're on really low leverage on a short, and you could have wrote it down if you had some crazy patience. But here, this is 47. That's probably more of the worst case scenario of what we could see a crash like that. I mean, 47, that's going to be rough. I don't think you're going to come down that much. Like, I don't think you're coming down to 9K that quickly. You absolutely could if things really, hit the ceiling. If things really go crazy in the next month, some real bad stuff comes out in the next month. S&P 500 really, really tanks. You could come down to those levels, and that could be a bottom too. You get a wick down maybe. Just that would be a capitulation wick, very similar to what we saw in 2015. It would be crazy, January 2015. I don't really think that's going to happen, but sure, that's another possibility. So, yeah. Bottom line, a couple weeks, see what happens. Month, see what happens. Get into January, be patient with this market, see what happens here. And swing shorts are your friends right now. So I added to my swing, Bitcoin short. In terms of the short term, what could happen here? What I'm looking at is, I think ultimately as this money flow crosses back over to the red, you're going to see possibly, something kind of potentially like this on your 8-hour time frame. Oh man, this was pretty rough. Well, by the time it actually crossed over, you were, something of this nature, 22% down. And that would be a nice, where's 22%? Where would that bring us? Around 13K. You do have the 400 weekly moving average at like 13.8 right now, which you'll see some reaction there. I don't think that's going to give you a bottom because it's just there's not enough historical support. That's why I don't think that's going to be a candidate for a bottom. But I think you'll see some type of reaction there. But in terms of this, I think you're going to break through this and come down. Right now could be a potentially good, scalp long, but with all the shorts I have in right now with locked in profits, but I have to just add to the shorts risk free. Now, yeah, you see the little anchor wave here on the 30-minute. If you're going to take this short or the long, something of this nature, I'd be taking profits at the market side for SR point, right here, a few $100s up, and your stop loss probably should be, below the swing low. It was a little late to get in now. Really, the place to probably get in this would have been around here, and that probably wouldn't have been too bad of a risk reward ratio if you got in right after this confirmed. You got a decent entry around there. That would have been a good risk reward ratio if you get in this high. Sometimes the market tries to play with you. We have this to break through too, so you could take this, but it's going to be a little bit risky, especially with how everything else looks. I'd rather just hang around in my shorts right now. I think you're going to be choppy a little bit before you break down farther. Let's move on to Ethereum now. The weekly on Ethereum does have a yellow X, so this is a pretty rare bearish sign. Now, this one obviously brought us down a ton. This brought you to the bottom. That was around 60%, and it looks similar to that in a lot of ways. Look at this, guys. The confirms in 6 days here. 60% would be right at that pocket. Worst case scenario for ETH, I would say in the next month, is going to be like mid to low threes in the next like month to 2 months. Worst case scenario where you come down into mid to late next year with the Nasdaq with S&P 500. Full disclosure, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just a really bad scenario. Probably these lows, either the pandemic lows or back here around $100 is probably the absolute worst case scenario. But for ETH, if you're getting in at, 300 to 600 and you go down to 100, still not that bad of an entry long term if you're willing to hold it into the next bull run. Even if you don't make new all-time highs, that's still going to be a pretty big jump up. Say you get here and then you just come up to, 2,500 in the next bull run, something of that nature. It's still a nice jump up. That's still a nice gain for a few years. I feel like most people wouldn't be complaining with a 500% increase. We got to be more more frugal here, guys. We're coming into the bear market. We got to be a little bit more have lower expectations here for the things that are changing to happen. Now, 2-day looks as bad as possible. Sugar wave downward, kind of like the blood diamond on the on Bitcoin. The same thing that could absolutely bring us down farther here. Same deal with I think as soon as the daily comes back into the red, that could be a big drop down, something like that, and then there's not much before you get to like 600, so that could be the next drop down to 600. Could be happening very soon within the next 4 weeks here. And then 8-hour coming. I think this could get deep in the red here, and that could early January, later this year, you could dump a lot. The tax season sell off. A lot of people will capitulate as things get uglier. Money flow crossing into the red here. And then your 30-minute, this could be, I already added to my swing short risk-free, but you're already hitting that SR point on Ethereum. So as this comes into the red, that may be a good short opportunity where, we're hitting it right now, this SR point. It's not as strong as the spider lines in my opinion, but sometimes I just want to see what's happening. Price does respect it. Look at that big drop downward. That's probably just a wick to get out everybody shorting. Now you can continue farther downward. I would probably wait until probably a good place. 30-minute crossing into the red would probably be a good place to go short here. Now, I want to talk about the altcoins, the popular ones that everybody has been talking about, because that's going to get me more views. But no, really, I think the double blood diamond here on the triple blood diamond, quadruple blood diamond on the 3-day here. I think this is what's going to bring Matic down a lot. I think these alts could really bleed. I think this is kind of a sell the news type of thing with the Trump NFTs coming out. And I think I think he's going to gain some steam. I don't want to talk about politics too much, but I think as you come into a recession, as things start to get uglier, into next year, I think he'll gain some steam. And I think Matic, as you see a bottom with Matic, you'll see a bottom with those NFTs. I think those could go down to, $10, $20, $30. Those places, mid to late next year, is probably going to be a good place to get into those NFTs. And those could go up to, in the next bull run, I'd say probably $1,000. Maybe less, but you could probably get a nice, pretty penny with those NFTs if you're willing to be patient. But right now, I think you're just going to cross over deeper into the red here. And I think probably your best case scenario for Matic is somewhere around, 50 cents to these areas. I think the writing is on the wall here. And I believe... Okay, not enough data on this chart, but I believe the monthly does have a red dot right there. So that doesn't happen too often. That's the first time ever it's happened, at least on this Binance chart. I forget when Matic even came out. I think this is all the data. But yeah, you could absolutely come down a lot farther here. That's why I'm still short on this. And ADA is just, oh my God, there's not much in between where we are right now. There's a little bit where we are right now. It's a tiny bit there, but your next big place is going to be around 15 cents. I think that could be a potential bottom, especially ADA is kind of weird. ADA may not crash as much as, ETH for some reason in the next few weeks. Maybe you see a bottom there. It plays weird games sometimes, but I think the big accumulation phase for this would probably be between like 7 cents up to 15, 7 to 15 cents. Huge accumulation phase for this. 2 yellow X's on the weekly there. I could see another 2 yellow X's kind of to the bottom around 7 to 15 cents. The problem with this is, it would be nice to have a 15-cent bottom, 95% down. If you come down 98% again, that's like not even any better than the last bull run. So it's not really showing less volatility long term. So it's not a good sign, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens with this. I think regardless, as long as this isn't at zero or at some ungodly low number in like the summer or later next year, it should have a nice bull run in the next bull run. And a nice jump in the next bull run, I should say. BNB monthly, red dot, kind of the same thing. A lot of people are talking about this going down. I think the masses will probably get this one right. There could be, because a lot of people are trying to go short, a lot of wicks up to chase everybody away. But I think inevitably you should come down to at least 165, this fib level right here. It looks bad, guys. Monthly red dot, and then a lot of things right here. Blood diamonds, you're kind of coming up, rejecting off of this SR point right here. Be careful. Funding fees have been extremely negative for this. A lot of people are going short, so just be careful. Have the stop losses very lenient. I already locked in profits for that. I'm not adding to this right now just because you got to pay a lot to short this right now, unless that's changed. Last night you had to, but yeah, this could absolutely come down a lot. And I think a lot of the alts will really come down a lot in the next month to 2 months. I think they'll continue to bleed against Bitcoin for at least until like March, April, in my opinion. The last thing I want to show you guys, we haven't really talked about retail too much or real estate too much on this channel. I found this fund to be quite interesting. I mean, there's decay in fees when you have short funds. This is a leveraged short fund on the DRV. You could just go short on real estate itself if you want to do that, whatever floats your boat. But look, I just found it funny how this came out in August of 09, basically when real estate bottomed out, because there's probably demand for people shorting real estate at the bottom. And just look what happens. It comes down to infinity. But now, all of a sudden, this was the pandemic jump, but all of a sudden, I want to show you guys how this weekly looks. Oh man, this looks beautiful. Never been in the green. This is probably the first time. Well, got in the green a little bit here. Then he came down a correction. But look at this parallel channel. I think there's a good shot you're going to get up to 100 with this. A nice potential double. When could that happen? Probably you could get there by February. It may take a little bit longer, but early next year, you could get there. And I think that's where, you start seeing real estate in America really come down significantly, like really that bubble popping. And I think, also people talk about how so many things were put in place to prevent '08 from happening again. It's hard to get a mortgage, you guys, so, proof of income, all those type of things. If people are still losing their jobs, I think there's going to be foreclosures. And there's a lot of people who went in over their heads, outbidding, stupid stuff like that. And I think it doesn't matter if you had 2 years income. If you lose your job, you may have to sell. You may have to be forced to foreclose. It could get ugly pretty quickly. Nothing goes in a straight line forever, guys. Just look at this fund. I would say the same thing on the NASDAQ short funds and the S&P short funds. Nothing goes in a straight line forever. Now, there's decay and other things with this, but I just follow the channel. I would say follow kind of the channel. I think this could be a nice jump up. Never financial advice, obviously. I also wanted to show you the the 4-day here. Look at that, just curving up the VWAP, beautiful into the green here. So I think you can come up higher with this. That's pretty much all I got to say right now. Dixie looking bullish. I don't want to take up too much time, but Dixie looking really bullish. Silver, I think, could see a pullback in the next few weeks. I'm hoping to get a healthy pullback for silver. But what I'm looking at to get kind of back in, I took some profits in silver. I'm looking at to get back in is kind of January. And the thing I'll just show you briefly, the thing I'm looking to get back in on silver is, the 4-day. When we get into the 4-day, this money flow crossover into the green, whenever that happens, hopefully we'll be down back to, 21, 22 would be a nice correction. You need that healthy correction on the way up here. Get that money flow crossover confirmed, and look at the last time. Bam, right up. Take out the pandemic, but and then right here generally coming down. So it's a pretty good indication. Even right here, look at that. I mean, you could absolutely come down and then just shoot right back up to these levels, 26, 27 right there. So that's what I'm looking at for silver, guys. Really appreciate you guys watching the video. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out the BITGET link down below. Check out my exclusive Discord down below as well to see some of my exclusive TA, trade entries, all of that. And check out my trading course if you want to know how I interpret market cipher, some of my trading strategies. A lot of people have really liked the course. Link and coupon code down below. That should be about it, guys. I'm going live on Twitch later today. Live streams are exclusively on Twitch. If you have a question, stop into the Twitch stream. I try to answer all the questions as long as they're reasonable. But yeah, check in. Please follow my Twitch. I always appreciate it. Link in the description below. All right, guys. Hope you have a good one. Goodbye.